There really is no such thing as incel. It's the concept of involuntary celibate. And it's not an insult to the females because incels are actually not. There's no such thing. Like, they're all choosing to be celibate. And it doesn't always have to be a wholesome reason you choosing to be celibate. Some of it can be a logismoi, which is a negative reinforcement that you keep telling yourself so that you will choose to be celibate, even when you don't want to be. So like that's incel, right? But you're still choosing. It's just like, it's not ideal outcome for what's happening. And just because somebody says such and such and this and that is the reason why you're still single, doesn't mean that can't be manipulation. Just because someone's saying that to you, it doesn't mean that comes from a place of bearing one's soul in honesty. Then they could be just manipulating too. And should you waste energy or use energy to express to them the concept? Because if they want to know or don't want to know, how do you know that they just aren't hurt themselves, and then they're just trying to, instead of be good faith and presenting you with their argument, they would just rib punch you real quick. You know what I mean? Because they're already hurt. You know what I mean? For you to say that there's no such thing as a man who is not choosing celibacy is to say that there are more leftover ugly women that aren't worth anything. That's not it. It's the fact is the matter is that there's always, no matter who you are, there's always an equally, if I'm a 3.5 on the scale of 1 to 10, there's another 3.5. There's a couple. There's some 2s out there, and they would try to convince me that the world still revolves around me if they wouldn't be your nanny. And they don't take the best care of themselves. And you can tell them how to take better care of themselves, because then they're going to get into their feelings. That's what make them a 2. That's what make them lower. And then, like, there are zeros. Like, they want to just make a focal point of one part of a woman's anatomy. Sorry, that's engrossing on that you're engrossing on self. It's kind of gross. It's totally selfish, and it doesn't make sense. So that you would think if someone is selfish, then they want the best for them and not for anyone else. They don't necessarily want the best. There's maybe they have a piss poor perspective and they can't get on your wavelength. That doesn't, so for them to be a 1, let's say I'm a 0 and I want to be a 1. You kind of want to be the nanny. Like, you kind of want to be the like, what is grooming, right? Grooming is a behavior that's off the wavelength. It's on a wavelength of appeasement. It's trying to engage your ego and not want to talk to you. What's that called? Cryptic? When someone's being cryptic. All right, so now I'm all the knowledge guy. Yeah, test the info stats. I'm not going to bring any more knowledge until you test my info stat, because I need to have a balanced perspective and a worldview that is the right one for positive reinforcing the society in this present time, day and age. Yeah, you don't just listen to somebody talking just because they like talking.